we know we're live? Okay, there we go. And we're off, literally. Okay, cool. So we're live, so I think we can get started right away. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us for this live stream. We're going to kick off essentially the presentation of our newly launched Dev Console. It's essentially a one-stop shop for developers across the Superchain. I'll say a few more words about this shortly, but we're excited to feature exclusive partners offers. And for this kickoff episode, we've invited our friends from Alchemy to join, and specifically Noam, who leads Alchemy Wallet Services. So before I kick off this little AMA with Noam, I just wanted to intro the Superchain Dev Console. There you go, which you guys can find at console.optimism.io. So as I mentioned, right, we want to essentially make it as easy as possible for developers to launch their apps on the Superchain. So we wanted to aggregate the tools to help you build, launch, and grow your app on the Superchain. So the main developer pain points that we found was how do you get ETH, testnet ETH? So we have the Superchain faucet on here. Then essentially funding your deployment costs, both on testnet and mainnet. We've got you covered for that. We found that a lot of developers need a bit of like UX review, so you can benefit from that as well. And before soon, we're going to have the one-click deploy, so stay tuned. That's coming. That's going to be live in about a month's time, and super exciting as well. We're essentially looking to like lower the developer overhead. So we've put together a deployment rebate to cover your costs, and put together a Paymaster, an ecosystem funded Paymaster, which actually leads me to my first question for Noam. So maybe to kick us off, could you outline how Alchemy has contributed to the Dev Console and how this partnership will make it easier for developers to build Superchain apps?
Yeah, absolutely. Sweet demo. Thanks, Marine. So high level, Alchemy Wallet Services is focused on providing tools and infrastructure that enables developers to build streamlined, secure, and self-sovereign user experiences. And to do so, we think smart contract accounts are required in order to onboard the next billion users to Superchain. And so the tools available in the Dev Console enable devs to start utilizing some of these primitives. So we've built out 4237, which is the ERC for account abstraction infrastructure support on OP mainnet testnet, Base mainnet testnet, Zora mainnet testnet, and Fractal mainnet testnet, and hopefully more coming soon to enable developers to get a consistent experience developing across all superchains.
Nice. And maybe actually, so I didn't touch upon this, or maybe I glossed over it in the overview, but we've also put together exclusive partner offers for our developers. So maybe you want to touch upon also the Alchemy specific offers.
Yeah, absolutely. So developers building with the Optimism Dev Console get a couple promotions. They get free access to Alchemy's paid services for, I believe, several months, 2 to 3 months, as well as free access to subgraph support on Alchemy. We're also working to provide streamlined gas abstraction offerings together with OP Labs and the rest of the Superchain ecosystem so that developers can have lower overhead and less deployment costs in getting started and going 0 to 1.
Nice. And one of the things we're super excited about is making Superchain a hub for all things account abstraction. So maybe if you want to touch a bit more on Alchemy's AA suite and what developers will have access to, especially with the growth tier partner offer.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, we've used smart contract accounts and account abstraction generally as table stakes for getting the next billion users on chain. They provide means to streamline user experiences, so abstracting away things like private key management and gas, and enabling flows like account automation. So you can do things like pull payments or subscription payments. You can automatically have DeFi positions rebalanced. You can permissionlessly implement on-chain account recovery, and the list goes on and on. And while these tools are very robust, there's also a lot of overhead with integrating them into the application. And so Alchemy's AA stack is geared to make this as efficient and robust from the ground up. We offer ERC 4237 infrastructure for sending meta transactions to smart contract accounts called user operations. We offer gas abstraction services right through the Superchain dev console. We offer 2 flavors of smart accounts out of the box designed for enterprise grade usage. And then we also offer signer services through a partnership we have with Turnkey to provide secure, quick, non-custodial key management. And all of this is tied together with an SDK built with VM first-class support for all superchains to make integrating and building on the suite as easy as possible.
Nice. And actually, I think that's a good segue. You guys have been scheming on actually essentially like an example of what you can do with your account abstraction tooling suite. So maybe you want to say a few words about that and segue into what you guys are excited to see come out of this partnership.
Yeah, absolutely. So the demo Marine's alluding to is called Worth of Words. We built it internally using this full stack. It's a game that feels Web2-esque. So there's no private keys, there's no gas. It's actually fun. If folks are familiar with the game Wordle, where you guess games against, you guess words, you have 6 guesses to get the word right. It's a 5-letter word. It's kind of like a multiplayer Wordle game. So you play against each other and try to guess each other's words. It leverages the account abstraction stack on Superchain as well as some ZK proofs so that you can't just go and see what your opponent's word is on chain. We'll provide more resources later, but folks can go check it out now at worthofwords.com. To answer the second question, in terms of like what we're excited to see out of this is we think this is kind of the mechanism to start abstracting away crypto from the end user experience and let developers provide applications that provide value without having them be super crypto forward. So we're seeing a whole wave of applications that are useful and have audiences in the traditional Web2 sectors across finance, law, games, etc. And they're all being built on chain, but their users don't need to know that they're on chain, don't need to manage native tokens, don't need to perform key management. And if you kind of think how this started, even on previous technology iterations, like 25 years ago, there were internet applications and regular applications. And now all applications are internet applications, and you just don't really think about calling them that. And right now we're trying to navigate that transition in crypto where there's crypto applications and internet applications, but over time, we expect most applications to get value from being built on crypto rails and use Superchain block space. And we kind of want to drop the crypto applications or decentralized applications. They're just applications. It's a little bit cleaner.
Yeah, absolutely. And actually, I think a nice segue to this is like, in addition to providing all these tools, what I think Alchemy does super well is like providing guides and like resources. Not only, you provide like a proof of concept and like build an application to showcase this, but to accompany that, you have all docs and resources and guides and like Alchemy University to further help developers. Maybe you want to say a few words about why like supporting developers and like hand-holding them is a key priority for Alchemy.
Yeah, absolutely. Over Alchemy's history, we keep seeing flywheels where supporting developers enables them to build great applications that onboards more users to the space, and that provides further incentives for new developers to join. And these flywheels are really powerful. And we think smart accounts and the scaling solutions being offered by Superchain both offer stepwise improvements for what developers can build. And so we expect these to be huge drivers for just net new people coming on chain.
Yeah, absolutely. And that was a bit also the idea behind the dev console as well, is like aggregating all these resources in one place so that developers don't have to go all over the place and have to spend their time like looking for this and instead have everything at their fingertips. And as I mentioned earlier, like how do you lower the overhead so that building a Web3 application is now the funnest and easiest solution? Absolutely.
Yeah. Exactly. I think the dev console's a huge step forward to that. And I think Optimism does a lot to promote this kind of experience. I think RPGF is another great example where it rewards the building blocks that developers rely on, even if they're not easily commercializable. I think we have a similar mindset at Alchemy where we're trying to like reward ecosystem builders. And in parallel, we have the whole team focused on the developer experience sprint, making sure docs are excellent, making sure everything's super easy to use. Devs can understand the trade-offs that are being made and concepts are easy to ramp up to. And in parallel, education has been a big focus. And so we've been working with Alchemy University to also put up 0-to-1 courses for developers to access these tutorials.
Yeah, nice. Especially like around all of account abstraction, right? These are like fairly new concepts. It has been enabled like not too long ago on L2s and L1s. So maybe like this is something that developers are not so used to, and all the terminology and what like can be done now is essentially like, yeah, tenfold what could be before. So it's cool to showcase this to developers. And yeah, maybe I just wanted to backtrack a tiny bit and say a few words about RetroPGF for those in the audience that don't know exactly what it is. It's retroactive public good funding. So at Optimism, we essentially like want to build an internet for all and by all. And so one of the ways that we do that is to extend funding to those projects that are delivering impact to the Optimism Collective. So about twice a year, and now we're shooting to do it even more often. We have, retroactive public good funding support. And so projects that have delivered impact to the ecosystem can apply to receive funding. And why is it retroactive? Because we believe that it's easier to assess what has delivered impact on something that has already been done, that something that will be done in the future. So keep your eyes peeled for RetroPGF Season 4 coming soon. Okay, yeah, with that being said, I think that's a good segue to my next question, which is why do you think now is essentially the perfect time to incentivize building on the Superchain? And why do you think the Superchain is cool?
Oh man, this is going to be such a long answer, so bear with me. So many threads kind of converging almost at the same time, and it makes it really exciting. One is 4844 went live 2 weeks ago. I'm sure everyone's seen the fee market graphs, but there's been orders of magnitude reduction in fees for developers building on these networks. Makes building scalable user applications much simpler, and couple that with the amount of Superchain block space available. Like cheap, secured block space has never been more available to developers. In parallel, Optimism has permissionless fault proofs coming out very soon. So as it progresses to type 2 decentralization, this just significantly increases the security model around OP stack block space. And there's a lot of developments coming down the pipeline that we're excited about. So another example is RIP 7212 provides developers primitives with smart accounts so that they can use their users' phones or laptops as hardware wallets. So again, just significantly improves the security posture in the space. And RIP 7212 is the first of many what's called roll-up improvement proposals. So recently, the EIP process, Ethereum improvement proposal, has been decoupled from the roll-up improvement proposal so that roll-ups can move faster and stay ahead of L1, continue to innovate on what developers and end users need. So there's a ton of really exciting developments coming in the pipeline. I'm sure I can enumerate many more, but those are a few that off the cuff I'm excited about right now.
Nice. And maybe a follow-up question to that is, what are what are you most excited in Alchemy's AA product suite for developers to use? And what verticals specifically do you think will be most impacted by this?
It's a great question. I'll answer the second question first, and that over time we see this being really a ubiquitous solution. Again, we think that to get 1 billion people on chain, we need to leverage smart accounts more broadly, and this applies regardless of the vertical being integrated. We're seeing a lot of early traction right now, actually in most verticals like NFTs, DeFi, gaming. We're seeing a lot of interest from like Web 2.5. So again, like these applications that provide value to their end users, leveraging crypto rails, but by not be exposing those crypto rails to their end users. We can't talk too much about some of the customer and prospect conversations we're having, but they include Fortune 500 companies, some of the biggest banks in the world, and like everyone's interested in leveraging like settlement properties and trustless properties of blockchains without all the overhead that their users have historically experienced. So very optimistic on the next 12 months there. In terms of what to check out with Alchemy's AA stack, the easiest place to get started is what's called embedded accounts. We've bundled every product we've put together into a simple plug and play solution to minimize the developer overhead of getting started. So it should be just a few lines of code, and you can get gasless experiences straight in the context of your application, leveraging crypto accounts behind the hood. Over time, you can build in more advanced features like threshold signatures or account automation, subscription payments, like on-chain recovery, et cetera, using all these primitives. So check out embedded accounts. And then if you're curious to dig under the hood, we've open sourced a lot of this software too. So check out Modular Account, which is the next gen modular smart contract account. You can extend it with any number of plugins designed for things like pool payments or account recovery. And it was designed from the ground up for rollups as well. So that's all deployed on Superchain and is fully open source, and we encourage developers to work with it. Another piece of open source software we released is Light Account, which is, as of this week, the #1 deployed smart contract account across any chain. So it's a very simple, lightweight, easy to get started with smart account, provides gas abstraction, batch execution, and a very streamlined developer experience. And the last piece of OSS I'll call out is Rundler, which is our from ground implementation of a ERC 4337 bundler in Rust. Again, this is now running on all of the Superchain networks I mentioned earlier, but is open source and developers can do with it what they want, including running it on any other network they choose. One theme that we're excited about is the path towards native account abstraction, where tools like Rundler can be combined with tools like OPREF to provide streamlined account abstraction with cheaper cost for end users. So we're excited to see that on Superchain hopefully soon.
Yes. Still, native account abstraction is maybe a little bit ways away, but in the meantime, developers can still play around with the existing account abstraction, which is currently supported across the Superchain. So nice. Okay, I think that was pretty much it. We covered everything we wanted to. Super excited to have had a chance to showcase the dev console. Really excited to see what developers will be doing with this. We touched upon our partner offers, including Alchemy's 2 months of free growth tier. If developers, I think there's going to be some shout out to Worth of Words if developers want to see how to use the account abstraction in action. And with that being said, I think there is nothing else. So we'll just leave it to the devs to get building. And any questions, you guys can find us at Optimism. We have a dev forum. Reach out this way. Alchemy also dev forum, Discord, Alchemy as well. And even on the console at optimism.io, contact us, hit that if you need anything. Super excited to see what you guys are going to be building.
Nice. Thanks, Rain, and
thank you
congrats
so
on launching
much,
the dev console.
Thank you. Everybody stay tuned. We'll do one of these every week or 2 weeks. So yeah, stay tuned for next week's or the week after's episode with our upcoming partners. Nice. Okay. We're still live. Let's see our host Amanda to take care of wrapping it up. I don't know if we're free to hop or not. Rolling with the punches on production. No, that's a wrap. We're still live. Let's see. But I think we're good to go. I think the audience got everything they needed. So thank you so much, Noam.
Thanks, Marine. Bye.
Ciao.